from then?
No, I haven't.
Well, it certainly makes a change, because here at Ferndale Rugby Club, instead of discussing the latest rugby game over a pint, yep, you've still got a pint, but you're having a chat here about your latest discoveries. Can I interrupt? Sorry, who are you?
I'm Stuart Sutton.
Now, you've brought along some fascinating things here. What's this?
That's a piece of a spur.
It's got gold on it, gold colouring.
Well, they were very ornate. I suppose when that was new, it was absolutely superb. The gold on it and the inlay on it was lovely. This whole medieval buckle here, I bet that was highly shined and looked after, because things like this in medieval time were very, very expensive.
Well, you obviously love doing it, Stuart. Have you ever found anything that's so important to the nation that it's become treasure trove?
Well, yes, I have. 2003, I found a medieval silver brooch. I handed it in to Mark. I had to go then to a coroner's inquest, which, in my opinion, took far, far too long. The red tape behind everything is unbelievable. When they valued the medieval brooch, it was £250, which then became the property of the Queen, so rightly be. But it was only last week that I received my half of the money. I've been waiting now 2.5 years.
And you say your half of the money because you presumably give the other half to the farmer.
Oh, yeah, certainly, yeah.
What's happened to the brooch now?
The brooch now is actually being bought by Brecknock Museum. I found it in the Brecknock area, and it should stay in the Brecknock area.
How do you find out about the history of something that you've discovered? I mean, is that part of the fun, just delving back to find out the past?
Yes, at the end of the day, when you get that beep beep in your earphone, you don't know what it is until you actually dig it out and find it. And, you know, you can sit down and you think to yourself, who was the last person that handled this money or this artifact or whatever it is?
Stuart, tell me, what were you like at history in school?
Absolutely pathetic. Didn't like it. And to be quite honest with you, Melanie, I never went to school.
And there you are now, a great scholar, a great student.
Well,
of history.
no, we buy coin books, artifacts books, antiques books. The object of it all is to read up on the artifacts and read up on the coins. It's just a wonderful, wonderful hobby.
It's bringing history alive, isn't it?
Well, there's another gentleman telling it was a marvellous hobby.
I'm 78 and I'm out regular.
All evening we've been hearing about somebody called Mark Lodwick, who comes along and judges the best find of the month. Mark, what do you actually do? What's your job?
Well, I work for an initiative called the Portable Antiquities Scheme. It's my job to record all archaeological objects found by members of the public and publish the data on a database which is publicly accessible on the internet. And there's now nearly 200,000 archaeological finds from across England and Wales recorded there.
And you actually come around clubs like this, do you, to talk to them, presumably to help build up a responsible relationship and tell people what they should be doing?
That's absolutely right. We've got a great relationship with the clubs. I attend all the clubs in Wales at least once a year, and the Rhondda and Cardiff clubs every month, and Gwent club as well.
How many clubs are there now in Wales then?
There's 7 or 8 now.
So these people go out with their detectives and they are actually helping compile the history of Wales?
They are. When things are reported and I can describe them, we get the archaeological information back. They get a full finds report on what they found, and everybody's happy.
I suppose before I came out I didn't know much at all about going out with a metal detector, and if I'm honest, I think I had maybe just thought of people going out looking for a bit of gold, a bit of something that they could sell on or whatever. How responsible are the people that you meet?
I found people generally very responsible, eager to follow the law, report treasure items, which is a different category. Any piece of treasure has to be reported to the coroner, but I'll take those in as well in situations like this. And people, yes, they want to do the right thing.
What's the most exciting find you've come across in Wales?
Well, I think the most exciting find I've been involved with was a recent discovery in North Wales, near Wrexham, of a Middle Bronze Age hoard containing gold talk, various beads, some pulsative axes, all within a pot.
And what's happening to that at the moment?
Well, that went through the treasure process. It was called treasure by the local coroner, and the National Museum Wales had the opportunity to acquire it.
So if something important is discovered, it gets sent to the relevant museum?
Not necessarily. It's my job to record archaeological objects and then give them back to the finders. If the finders then want to approach a museum and ensure that it ends up in a museum, that's fine, and I can help with that process, but that's not my job. Something is decided or might be treasure, which is basically any object that's over 300 years old and more than 10% gold or silver. or 2 or more silver coins, 10 or more base metal coins, or prehistoric objects, metal objects found in association, then the museum has the right to acquire them if they are treasure.
Okay. Well, that's great. Well, already, the people have been coming in with their finds, and I know later on this evening you're going to have to look at these and you say, well, to me this is the find of the month. Can we just have a quick look what you can see in here, and let me know if there's anything exciting in there?
Well, they're all interesting. This is the best coin category, and I can see already there's 2 Roman bronze coins and a medieval silver coin. All nice finds. It's quite difficult as an archaeologist to decide what the best find is. All archaeology is interesting.
Nothing too rare there, though. Is this what you would expect people to be finding?
Well, it's all rare. We don't see much of this. And if you dig an archaeological site, you'd be lucky to find any of these items.
Really?
Yes. They're important discoveries, and they can add by plotting exactly where they're from, finding out exactly who the emperor is on the coin, or the king on the medieval coin, finding out what type it is, a good date. We can learn a lot.
Now then, in here it says best modern discovery. We saw this earlier. This is Stuart's spur, he thinks.
That's right. It's called a rowel, from a rowel spur. It would have been gilt. You can see just traces of gold, but it's in the modern find. I think that's right. I think it dates to the early 1800s or perhaps late 1700s. But interesting, it's a nice find.
Okay, excellent. And then over here we've got a box here which says the best artefact. What have we got in here?
Right. There's a finger ring of a type that I think, it's quite an unusual type. I think belongs to the late medieval or early post-medieval period. That's roughly 16th to 17th century.
That is fantastic. So this is really quite old.
That's right. Here we have a buckle, which is probably from a spur as well, a spur buckle. That certainly is medieval. 1300s, 1400s, so probably about 700 years old. It's a nice find. That probably was gilt as well.
I did half expect you tonight to say, oh well, it's a load of stuff that they found underground that isn't really that interesting. But you're saying to me that these are good finds.
Oh, these are all interesting finds. These are all very important archaeologically. Any of these would warrant a lot of attention in an archaeological site. And just because they're found out of context in an archaeological site, it still makes them very interesting.
And I've got to ask you, have you ever been out with a metal detector yourself?
I haven't myself. I've been out with metal detectorists. When I dig an archaeological site myself, I'll never do it without a metal detectorist now to show me where metal signals might turn up.
So,
it's an important tool.
As far as you're concerned, they are doing a good job and they're helping compile a good picture of our history.
When metal detecting is done responsibly, it's adding a great deal to our understanding of our past.
That was Mark Lodwick ending Country Focus this week, and the programme was presented by Melanie Dole and produced by Pauline Smith. Now, if you'd like to find out more information about the programme, there are more details on our webpage. Just visit www.bbc.co.uk/Radio Wales and select Country Focus.
On AM,
FM,
online and digital.
this is BBC Radio Wales.